What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I am here with the big boy, Benny Ross. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just relaxing. Just
Ooh,
getting out of work a bit.
Having some time off. We were just talking. We didn't know that you debuted originally for the Dragons. You know, I always have these like images of my head. Sharks and Penrith. That's like the two images I have in my head. But yeah, you were Dragons boy when you first started.
Yeah. 5 years I was at the Dragons in the junior system, and debuted for the Dragons. Tough way to come through the grades, but yeah.
Especially those years, they were actually quite a good side as well, if I'm remembering correctly, through that era.
They were in the grand final. Baz, Lance Thompson, Jason Rolls, Luke Bailey. Yep. All the boys. It was a phenomenal team. Great club.
Was Timmins then, or was he?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Talk about loose humans.
He is one of the loosest humans I've ever met.
He's good. No, they had some good times there.
Oh, man. And a great bloke too. Great bloke. So, you're working with Men of League at the moment. You're running the national, the whole thing?
Wellbeing program there, yeah. So, as we spoke about before, I want to give back to the game. I understand how hard it is for the boys to do what they do, and retirement's such a difficult thing. So, threw my hand up to get in that role for a while.
Man, what's it like? I mean, obviously, it's a different kind of job because you're dealing with people that are falling on hard times and stuff. So, must be emotionally draining sometimes.
It is. It's what we call crisis management. So, and it's amazing to see the effect of people in retirement, and we deal with grassroots a lot, and just the economy at the moment, the stuff we deal with, it is emotionally draining. But been through a lot of it over the last 3.5 years. So, yeah.
What's been the most rewarding thing you've kind of, like something where you sat back and you go, this is why I do it. That was worth it.
Seeing a smile on a person's face when you help them. We base our main programs around going out and visiting people and that social isolation prevention kind of stuff. And you see the smile on an old fella's face or a young kid, and you think, this is why we do it. Yeah, it's good.
Man, because just talking about the emotional draining bit, like, I mean, you'd see some extremely tough stuff that would just break your heart, and it would be hard not to pour too much of yourself into it, because there's got to be a point where you've got to like take care of yourself too. You can't just give everything of yourself to everyone, because you'd be, half a person by that.
And that's a big thing. We've got enough committees that, you said, things that emotionally drain you. Like I talk about, we're up in Brisbane a few weeks ago, and we took a 2-year-old kid who was dying of cancer to a Broncos training session. Josh Maguire was fantastic with him.
Oh, actually, what's his name?
Cooper,
Super Cooper.
Yeah. And his parents got married that weekend, and then he passed away on the Monday. And, the shock that sent through our whole foundation and Josh and the other boys is pretty difficult, but you see the joy that it brought them for that weekend before it, and you think, hey, that's why we're here.
Yeah, give them that memory forever kind of thing. Yeah, because I actually I got a message from a Facebook page called Blokes Advice, just asking if there's anything I could do. And, I just sent a few messages out, like all the Rabbitohs boys sent photos, Bo Ryan sent photos. It's amazing to see, footy players, don't get me wrong, they do some really, really stupid stuff. But when you ask them to do stuff like that, they're pretty quick to do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we're always held in this bad light. You just think, God, if only the media really saw the good side of the rugby league players. And like you said, it's 2% of the players that really stuff up and are wankers.
Yep.
They're 98%. They're family men, and they're really good for the community.
If anything, they're held to a higher standard. They're sometimes they're better. Like I don't know how many Sparkies you could message and go, hey mate, we need you to take a photo for this poor little fella. Whereas the boys, like, they just, as soon as I sent the message, boom, yep, of course we can do it.
That's amazing, because you see it so often now too. It's the boys are always willing to help out.
Yeah, definitely. So how's it been for yourself? Retiring. You've been helping so many other people since you retired, 2013. But personally, what's it been like for you? It's been quite a while now.
Yeah, tough, man. 3.5 years out of the game. I miss every part of it. People say, oh, do you miss getting flogged at fitness at training? And I said, yeah, because I'm fat now. I used to be fit and half ripped, but now I'm just a fat guy sitting at home. But no, I miss footy. I miss the camaraderie and the mateship and all those things that come with sport and rugby league itself. But 3.5 years, a lot's happened, and really, I suppose we talk about the benefits of the work ethic of a rugby league player, and I suppose that's prevailed with me in my businesses at the moment.
Yep. And so do you so you miss the boys. Do you miss having that pinpoint purpose each weekend that directs your whole life?
Yeah, it's not a pinpoint, but the structure.
Yeah.
I crave for structure, so everything in my day's got to be structured. And
yeah,
I did love aiming for that game at the end of the week, and I suppose that's my Saturday with my kids at the moment. I work as hard as I can so I can have half a day off on Saturday to be with my kids. So that's my main goal.
That's okay, cool. And you kind of, it's funny how you like, you put that into footy terms, like, you know, you're working hard to have your game on the weekend with your kids. That's that's cool.
That's the way it is. You talk to so many people now, and what I do is when I help other guys, and I mentor a lot of boys, and say the exact same thing. Your life is like a football game. So you've trained 10 years, 20 years in the game. Why not put it into that perspective? Yeah,
totally. It's easy also to wrap your brain around it then. Like, you can be like, okay, well, I can, you know, connect these two things, and that will give me an easier path to whatever I want to do, kind of thing.
And it's also, hey, you do need a rest. Like in football, some days you need a rest.
Yep.
People, I think today's community, they're 7 days a week.
It's crazy. It's 100%. So take us back to a young Rossi. Benny Ross. Someone's taking. Were you also known as the Ross Dog? Nathan Ross is taking it. Ross Dog.
Yeah, you can have that. No, my nickname as a kid was Fat Boy.
Oh, really?
Mate, 10-year-old. I only started playing footy when I was 10, and I was to lose weight. I was the fattest kid in school, and got pushed in the rugby league. So, just to lose weight and make mates. So it was that world. But up on central Queensland, but then moved to the sunny coast to play footy. And yeah, that was me, a farm boy playing on the Sunshine Coast.
Okay, so you grew up Central Coast on a farm?
No, Central Queensland.
Central Coast. Central Queensland.
Central Queensland, and then moved out to the sunny coast.
So what was the reason for the move?
Just so I could get a better education and get more involved, because remote in the centre of Queensland, you sort of don't have a lifestyle. It's either you're in the mines or you're on a farm. So my parents wanted me to get into a more social environment.
It's crazy how, like, you know, we all live in the same country, and, you know, like Australia is, you see Sydney, Melbourne, but there's so much area where, like, people are literally living not a completely different life, but it's very isolated kind of thing.
It is. And you're talking about an hour away. Like, you drive from the sunny coast, you drive an hour inland, and life is totally different. And I see that now, and some of the stuff I do with mental health and the drug addictions of people living in those remote communities, that lifestyle, they have nothing left, and so they turn to drugs and ice. And you just think, there's got to be a better way. And I'm thankful that my parents took me to the sunny coast, and I am where I am.
Yeah, I mean, especially out there, you know, if you lose all hope, I mean, there's not distractions, because it's not like you want to be distracted, but it's very easy to slip into this kind of like isolation, you know, nowhere to go. This is the only thing I've got kind of thing.
Yeah, and no support systems out there.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. It's crazy. So you moved to Sunny Coast, and you start playing footy. Initially, when you started playing, was it? You said that it was because, you know, to lose weight, to make mates. What were you like though? Were you naturally gifted? Like, were you good, or was it just like, I'm just fucking having a diggy?
Yeah, it was a long process. Being big, it helped to run through people, but it was more. Once the group of mates I have, and they're still my best mates. So like the first team I was in, like, we all still talk.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
Sick.
So, no, I wasn't naturally gifted. Work ethic's something I believe in, and we talked about it before. Is that you had to put it in and to lose that weight and start to get fit. It took me 7 years before I made my first rep team. So,
oh wow, far out. So it was genuinely just to make mates, have fun, and, you know, get some work ethic in you.
Yeah. That was all it was.
Wow, so what, 10? So 17 was like...
17, so 16, 17, and that's when we talk about Dragons. The Dragons approached me from a rep trial and said, hey, do you want to come down and have a look around? And that was sort of
So being a country lad, what was that like for you? Especially because, like, people, you know, I mean, even I have the tendency to forget, but, like, back then, there was no social media. There was no, what would it mean? Just the internet was just kind of getting mainstream.
Yeah, you had dial-up. You had that. You had to go through. Yeah, so it was a big change, culture shock. So coming down to Sydney, you go away from your family, all that kind of stuff, and it was an eye-opener. But thankfully with the Dragons, I moved into a family environment. And Peter O'Sullivan, who's the scout he was the scout at the Roosters. You know about him, and so they took me on board. So it was very good for my football and my life.
Yep. It's and when you got down there, was it just like, wow, like, you know, when they said to you that they were kind of interested, were you like blown away, like, wow?
Yeah, and back in those, you're just coming out of Super League era, so where the clubs had endless amounts of money and gear, and so you go down and you go into their storeroom and they go, oh, you can have this pair of boots and these shirts and chucking everything at me, and I'm like, I just wear the same kind of gear every day, and I'm signing with you now, and you sort of bundle all the gear and go through it, but just wow, back then when there was no governance around what they were doing. Yeah,
it was just like wild west.
Yeah, I would love to have hit that actual Super League era.
Oh my God! Some of the Brad Fittler was saying that he was having a meeting, I think, with the ARL, and they gave him the offer, and he was just like, yeah, sounds really good to me. Walked out, but he didn't really give him much, and then someone else went into the office, and within like 10 minutes they had added another $200,000 onto both of their contracts because one of the boys was just like hesitated a little bit. Yeah. So within 10 minutes, he had made $200,000 for nothing.
Yeah. I speak to a player who went through that era. It was pretty good, and I can't say his name, but he literally got offered $500,000 straight up. He goes, yeah, I'll consider it. I'll go outside, range Super League. Said, hey, I've got $500,000, and they went up, and he went back in and went, hey, I need this to stay. And they went, yeah, okay, we'll give you that plus this. And he literally made $1 million like that.
Oh
and
my
I was just
God.
like, you made $1 million back then. You can buy whatever you want.
Oh man, 100%. And like he just made $500,000, 100% of his contract, just by one negotiation.
That was a signing bonus. That wasn't his contract. Yeah.
So $1 million was his signing bonus.
Yeah.
He made $1 million signing bonus.
And I was just like, fuck, really? Like,
you know what I don't get? It's like, so the game has grown. Yeah. Like they had the money to do that then. Where's the money?
Well, that's a big thing, isn't it? But you talk about now that the game was so strong in the country rugby league.
Yeah, that's true.
And now the NRL's spending it all where they have to spend it in the lower ranks. So,
okay, because like I always wonder, like these huge contracts, and then like the salary cap gets brought in, and like all this. Now we can't afford this, and then you look back days at like Super League and the ARL and that. You're like, where did they get all this money from to just be like, boom, $1 million, $500,000,
$500,000. We'll go pay for that. We'll send you here. We'll do that, and
it's crazy, man. That is insane.
Was, a different era, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally. So you go down to Dragons, and you're like, yep, 100%. This is what I want to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. And so you sign with them, and so you moved down there as soon as you signed with them at 17 years old.
Yeah. So I literally signed, went home, finished school. Day I finished school, so we had our formal that night. The next morning I was flying out to...
Like, you would have been the king coming back home from the Dragons signing you.
I kept quiet.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like to brag about those things. I feel that, you have your mates and that close-knit kind of people that you hang with and you tell them, but the other people are haters.
It's true.
They don't like seeing people achieve, and so I just thought I'll stay quiet and get through the thing. And then coming back a year later after my first year down there, and people knew what it was, and I was like,
how good is this?
Yeah. Sheila's, no fat kid anymore.
Mate, it all comes back to the Sheilas. It all does. I'm telling you, everything is to get a girl's attention, whether it's your missus or another girl's. There's bloody totally. Okay, so you go down there, and so you train. Did you go straight into first grade squad and play reserve grades, or did you just play reserve grades at that stage?
So I don't know if you were around when we had the flag system.
Yeah, flag. Yep.
Went through flag and reserve grade, and they all got chopped and changed around. So sat in reserve grade for about 2 years. Because I was a bit young. Yeah,
and reserve grade was quality back then.
Oh, yeah. It was
pretty much
first
NRL.
Grade, yeah. So they were coming back down. You had all these old fellas who just wanted to flog you.
Oh, bro, 100%.
Mate, painful.
I Step on your fingers, just all the little dirty things.
Solomon Mono was in the Dragons reserve grade team when I was there. And we had a boxing match-up, like, training, when you box. They go, Rossi, you're with Sol. And I was like,
So he's literally a professional boxer
and just flogged me. And he's going, okay, well, that's what you got to do. And then, we laugh about it, but to get my first grade debut, they said to me, oh, you got to toughen up, like you're big and fit, and said, but show some aggression, throw an elbow into someone, hit someone. And I literally in one game elbowed a guy on the ground. He got up, he grabbed me, I hit him, went off and made a tackle, and then they highlighted it in the video and said, look what you've done. Yep, you're in.
So they literally said, yes. You need to elbow a bloke.
You need to hurt someone. You need to... I don't care if it's legal or illegal. Just go do it. I was like, yeah, okay.
Did you feel bad, or were you just like, nah, I've got to do it?
Well, that's why I got the taste for it. And after that, I thought I'm one of the highest suspension rates in the NRL at the moment.
So they've corrupted you?
Corrupted me, but for a good way. So,
So you literally... elbowed him. You fed him.
Yeah. And then went on and went to make another tackle and just kept playing. And they're just like, that's perfect. You didn't get penalised. You didn't get anything. And because he grabbed me, so the refs back then used to let things go.
Yeah, if you grab, it's a fight.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, wow, far out. And then you made your debut the next week.
Next week against Melbourne Storm.
Holy shit.
But that was the debut from hell, because I remember we got flogged.
Yep.
But we went down in Melbourne, and Melbourne were the best back then. Like, they'd won the grand finals and done all that. And I remember my first run, and Stephen Kearney fucking hammered me.
He was a beast.
Oh, and talk about elbows, threw the biggest arm, elbow, whatever, and split me.
Oh.
Split me, and he goes, don't you fucking run at me again. Like that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sweet. So next time I got the ball, I ran, and he tackled me, and he goes, what did I fucking tell you? And he literally ripped it, and it was just like pissing out blood. Stitched it back up at half time, and I'm like, oh fuck, what have I got into here? And he was just relentless. He was a fucking meanest bastard.
Just wanted to staunch you, just scare you
the whole time.
And in your head, you're like, well, I have to run at him now. Like, I can't not run at him.
Yeah, you're not going to run away from him, because then he thinks, oh yeah, you got you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, second half did the same thing, and next thing, stitches busted.
And he just kept coming at you.
Kept coming.
Because he just knew you were a debutant.
Yeah. So it was me and Craig Stapleton. You remember Stapo that played for the Dragons?
I probably know his face if I see him.
Big redhead possum. So
yep.
He'd probably be watching this. So.
Yeah. The big boy?
Yeah, the big boy.
Wow, that's crazy. So Kearney was just a relentless, wanted to intimidate you.
Yeah, and that's why they was so good back then.
Yeah.
They had him and Kearns and Twira and Nick out.
Was Wiki there yet? Sorry, that was the Storm. Sorry, I thought it was for the Warriors. That's from this. Okay, the Storm.
Yeah.
Did they have? Was White there yet? No, White wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there. But they had. Did they have all Guy and all them in the centre? Oh, mate, they were good.
Slater would have just been.
Yeah, and Cameron Smith. Yeah.
Yep, Cameron Smith. 2013. 2002.
2. Yeah.
So Slater and Smith. Cronk wouldn't have been there just yet.
No, he wasn't there. I think it might have been. Was it Matty Orford?
Yeah, Matty Orford. Yep. Lazarus might have just been.
He just left.
Just been in come. Oh man, Lazarus.
Oh,
animal. But I love that. That's a great story. So he's just into
me. Yeah. I love it. And that's like I say to people now, like the young boys coming through. I said, you get away with murder now. Like, they can't even hit you. You can mouth off all you want. You can get away, like being a cheap little. Bastard, like,
doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
Anything niggly, you can, fucking anything.
I'd say that's the only thing I miss about rugby league is on watching it, is seeing that the dominant big fella can't do anything back to the little cheeky smart ass.
Yeah.
Remember when I mouthed off to Gordy and he flogged me? He fed me 1,000 punches before I could even blink. And
so walk us through that story. When was this? What year was this?
2003 at Penrith.
So 2003, you get signed from the draft. So actually, take us to your debut. Calling your parents, your old, what was that like? Your old man and that? Like,
yeah, he was pumped. So I'd actually been told the year before I was going to make my debut, and I snapped my knee in half.
Oh man!
So that game. So literally, they said, get through the game. You're going to play Cowboys. They're an easy match. We'll bleed you into that game. And so I went out and played and offloaded and twisted my knee and it just snapped. So,
out for the whole year?
Out for the whole year. So full Rico. Man. So which is fun. And so I went in the next year and debuted. Called the old man and said, hey, come down. It's in Melbourne.
So was he in Sunny Coast or had he moved back?
Sunny Coast.
Okay, so they stayed in Sunny Coast.
In there,
yep. I mean, I don't know why you'd leave. Beautiful place.
No, best. Yeah. The best. But yeah, him, my mum and my missus at the time. So yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, loved it. So yeah, mum, dad, and the missus came down for the debut, and hey, the Dragons and Melbourne Storm, to their credit, put on a really good show for them and looked after them. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so a bit different then because he didn't have to add all that stuff into the salary cap. So clubs could fly you down.
100%, they could do whatever. Yeah, totally. Okay, so your debut year, how many games did you play then?
I played 8 games.
Yep.
And then I was about to re-sign with the Dragons, and I said to my manager, I said, I've got a pretty healthy contract that I can go with the Dragons, but my dream is to play with the Panthers. It's my favourite team.
Oh, okay. So you grew up watching the Panthers?
Always watching the Panthers, yeah. And so MG is one of my big idols.
Oh, really? Love watching him play?
Yeah, loved him. So
just aggressive. Awesome. Yep.
And and I said
very similar to Stephen Kearney.
but scary. But I said to my manager, hey, can we just go see if Penrith can fit me in, because they I think they came last in 2002 and in 2001 and in 2002 they weren't much better. And he said, do you really want to go to a team like that? And I said, yeah, all I want to do is play for the team I dreamed of. And he went there and he said, "Oh, good news is they've got a spot in there, 25 for you. But the bad news is it's like half your contract at Dragons."
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it."
Oh, wow. So you just said, because you're just so keen to be...
Yeah, just play for the Panthers.
And so how... Was Gaia still... He would have been just...
No, he just finished.
Just finished.
So he had Gerds, Reese Wesser, Gowie,
Sattler.
Luke Lewis, Sattler, Runes...
Oh, Luke Rooney.
Joe Nullavow, all the guns, like all the ones Pritis, the ones you dreamed of playing with.
Yep.
They were all there, and I thought, I'll take my opportunity and go.
What a decision! What a decision! Far out.
Huge.
So 2003 rolls around. You started a new club.
Yeah.
What was it all like for you? What was it everything you'd ever dreamed of? Was it like tough or?
Yeah, because at Dragons, he got taught how to be mentally tough and strong, and training was relentless down at Dragons, as you know. And where it put me in good stead for Penrith. So I went out to Penrith. I was driving from Cronulla to Penrith every day for training and back. Came into a side who was relatively young, had some old heads and some young, and they had a lot of money behind them from the club. So first day I came into training, you go into this big shed full of weights, working out, and the boys are going, "Oh, we're going to have brekkie," and I'm thinking, "Oh, we're going to go buy breakfast somewhere." Yep. Walk straight into a kitchen, it's all supplied for you. And that's only seen now in rugby league.
Yeah, 100%. That was only just brought into the Broncos maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, and so that was all there, and you could eat as much as you wanted, and they just really catered for their players. And it was phenomenal. So the harmony around the club was great because they looked after their players, and we did everything and just learned to train hard. And it sort of I brought a culture from Dragons to help the younger fellas to do the best we could, and that was pretty good. And we went through the off season and got absolutely hammered out there, 42 degrees, and I didn't know what was going to...
It's like you can try to explain it, but there no words will explain the blisters, the chafe, the day in, day out redlining it the hardest you can possibly go.
And that's warm-up.
Yeah.
Yes. Out there, it literally, you'd start and you'd feel like you want to spew.
Yeah,
just the heat, the flow.
Especially the big boys. I'm a little guy who used to just whip around that. He's just the envy of the big boys.
There was no difference between little fellas and big. You all do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just getting flogged, hard days, and you see guys like yourself just pissing off on you, and you think,
like this little bastard.
I've got 2 or 3 hours of this. And you just match up with someone your own pace and go, if I keep with them, I'm right.
Yeah, totally. It's 100%. 100%. Okay, so. Did you round 1 start for the...
Round 1 start, yeah. Yep. So I was lucky enough that trials and all that came around and played well, and Langy pulled me across and said, "Hey, you're going to be playing for us." And was pretty pumped about it, and I thought, I've got to make my mark somewhere. So I got onto the field and started playing well, and Gordy tackled me and said something to me. I'm like, fuck, did he actually talk to me? Like, I was pretty pumped that... And the Raging Bull, yeah. And I thought, fuck, I can't let him get over the top of me today.
Yeah, he won't respect me.
Yeah. And so, I was sort of a bit arrogant. I thought, I fucking got to stand up. Yeah. So next time I tackled him, I give him a bit of lip and shoved him a bit and did all that stuff. And he literally stood up and looked at me. I was like, oh, fuck, what have I done? Like that. And he's like ready to hit me. And I'm thinking, fuck, what's going on? And the ref goes, break it up. And I thought, oh, yep, sweet. And as I pushed away to get away from him, my hand slipped and hit his face.
Oh, no.
He just laid the biggest, he pulled him back, boom, and he literally threw 1,000 before I could fucking...
He was praying that you threw even tiny something.
And he tells that now because we speak a lot, and he goes, I was picking on someone that day and you just mouthed it off the wrong time.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, my God. So he was just trying to staunch someone in the opposite pack?
Yeah, so Wayne had told him to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and... yeah, he did it, and he picked me perfect. And so
see, that's a tough thing. Is like nowadays you definitely couldn't do it, but those days he was in a mindset of as soon as this kicks off, I'm ready to go. But you're in the mindset of like, I'm just going to say some shit and then just walk away from it. Yeah. So he's always going to win that kick off. As soon as it kicks off, he's going to throw it straight away. Yeah. Whereas you're like, you would hesitate and be like, should I throw it? Shouldn't I throw it? Yeah. Like, I'll now throw it. But before you fucking thrown it, you've been punched in the head 20 times.
Mate, he hit me 1,000 times before I could even blink. And I thought, fuck, now I've got to throw one back.
Yep.
I threw the hardest punch I could, and it sort of put him back, and he just got angry at it. Like, his eyes just went like that, and he just went boom, boom, and just laid into me. I was just like,
Is it something you look back now and you're happy about? It's like a good memory, or is it still
it's funny because I bring it up now. What happened on the field stayed on the field, and it was pretty good, and I've got to know him really well, and love his time and what he's about in football, and it taught me a lesson.
Yeah,
it taught me that there's guys in the game who've done so much more and know the back roads of what's happened in rugby league and what they've done to get there.
Yeah,
to respect them.
Yeah, okay.
There's nothing more that I hate at the moment is this young 18 or 20-year-old coming through the ranks quickly and going out and thinking he's king shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
learn your trade.
Oh, totally. And so in that moment, and that no longer is a part of the game, there's no unwritten law of like, young guy gets lippy, he gets punched, comes out the next week, he's humbled, he's learned his lesson, probably like Gordy learned his lesson somewhere along the lines, maybe not, he's a fucking crazy man. He probably bashed some older bloke, but we'll just say that. But do you know what I mean? Like, there's no natural check, natural balance check.
Well, it is. You have a look at Innes's game. Went to a whole nother level when punches got ruled out of the game.
Yeah,
because he can mouth off with the best of them, and it's like you see the frustration. Like in a scrum, he's just going boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
and the front rows are just standing there going, "Fuck! All I want to do is hit him." You can't.
And it's a tactical advantage, and it's tactical brilliance by Ennis.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what people don't understand is like, you've got a team of 17 blokes, and when you're in that team, any way you can win together, your ego doesn't matter. All that matters is winning for your mates beside you. Yeah. So if Innes has got to be lippy, he's going to be fucking lippy all fucking day.
How happy, like if you're the guy next to Innes, like laughing.
Yeah.
You're thinking about, fuck, he's getting, I'm over him already.
Yeah, 100%.
It helps.
So when was the moment, so you get raging bald?
Yeah.
When was the moment where you're like, you know what, I need to pull my head in a video. I shouldn't have fucking given lip to one of the fucking best forwards in the game? Or was it just a slow realisation of like, fuck Gordon Tallis, like, and then eventually you go like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
There wasn't any resentment or anger against it, and I was sort of more gobsmacked. Oh fuck, I've just been bashed up, kind of thing. Like, fuck, it was massive. And then I heard Wayne Bennett speak, and he said it's part of football. Well, it happens on the field. And I'm like, hey, he's the godfather of Queensland in Australia and football now. But it's when I heard him say that, and I thought, he's right. Like, it's all a part of the game, and just thought I'm happy to be a part of it. And
it's such a good moment.
Like and it's. I think afterwards I sat down with Satsy and a few of the older boys, and I said, well, there's a respect level because there were a lot of young fellas in our team, and they all went, okay, we're not going to make that mistake. We'll just understand. Yeah,
it's crazy that lesson that you learned. Did you in your later on in your career, did you get the honour of teaching any younger blokes from another side?
Not really, not in punching.
Yep.
Like I think the backlash that Gordy got from what happened with me, I thought I'm not going to be throwing punches, but the elbows and the pressure points and all that kind of stuff, you'd pick out the young guy on the team who was a smart ass, and you'd just be running at him all day.
All day. So it's an active thought in your head, like I need to put it over this guy
because you know that he'll crumble.
Yep.
And then he learns his lesson about, hey, I should have necked up. And
so there's been moments in your career, like obviously you're not going to fucking say who it was.
Yeah.
You don't want to
but you pick them out the week before and you go, I'm sick of this bastard bagging out A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And you think, fuck, let's do it. And you pack, like there's a whole pack, like you know your game plan.
Yep.
And so you get you and your front row buddy and go, okay, well, fucking, you're going to run at him, I'll run at him, and we just keep going.
Yeah.
So,
was there any conversations with like your coach? As in your coach said, look, I don't care if you get a penalty, I want you to rough this fucking bloke up.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It came different later in my career when I was playing at the Sharks, and it was a good play. Like I've had coaches say, you've got to take it. I don't care what happens. Good. Yeah, you got to take him out. And that's going to help us win. And I absolutely fucked up the time that I got told to do that. I ended up elbowing Cooper Cronk in the jaw and got suspended for 8 or 9 weeks. But I only went to knock him ass over tip.
Yeah, not actually elbow him in the jaw.
By the way he leant and the way I went, it just went
boom. Oh, shit. And you were more just trying to make... So for fans that are listening, you're not told to, like, break the bloke's jaw. Sure. You're told to... Every time he kicks it, he's scared that you're going to fucking come and hit him and tackle him. And that's what the more is.
So then his kicks off that little bit. Cooper Cronk's phenomenal at his kicking and his positional play, but if he knows that he's got a 120-kilo bloke
running
to knock him, what's he going to do? Try to protect himself? Try to kick? Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's being relentless. I think that's the word you use, and it is. It's every time he had the ball, we had to tackle him and put him to the ground.
And you're off him. It's that's something that like you don't really hear about in the media is those little things that are mental advantages of like for example, Reynolds, against Queensland, I'm pretty sure his job was to try to get under Jonathan Thurston's skin. Like, I'm pretty sure that was his job.
Yeah.
And it's such a big part of it, but you don't really hear much about it.
And you look at this year's Origin series where as soon as Fafita came out in the first game and talked, there was a talk around him.
Yeah.
Queensland knew that they could get his fuse. He's got a fuse. And
Yep.
so they hammered him for the next 2 games. And
Yeah.
he loses his cool. He's one of the greatest players in this year in the game.
Oh, 100%. Natural ability-wise, wow.
When he loses his fuse,
Yeah.
you're
Makes
you're
mistakes.
over him,
It's that double-edged sword,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you would have dealt with that double-edged sword your whole career.
definitely.
The aggression is so good in a part of your game, but it also can get you suspended for fucking
I copped a fucking number of them.
Okay, so you have that moment with Gordy. Do you feel like that was another point like the Stephen Kearney one where, like, I can take something away here, I can, like, this can be built into my game as well kind of thing?
Yeah, it's you learn from everything you do within the game, and that's probably you see the players like I always talk about Melbourne Storm players like Billy, Cameron, and Crong, is that everything that they do is purposeful and they learn from each thing. So
Yeah.
like they talk about the running game of Cameron Smith in Origin, and he runs like he hadn't run the first 2 games. The third game, mate, he's got that in the memory bank, and
Yep.
he's learnt from things like that. And as a front rower, when a halfback steps here, you got to put that in the memory bank and say, okay, well, I learnt that last time. What have I got to do? And
Yep.
I definitely learnt not to fucking give it to an old fella who can throw punches.
And his nickname's the Raging Bull. And what's with you getting put with blokes getting fight? Solomon Hamona and Gordy Tallis?
Yeah, no, I don't know because I'm big. That's
Yeah.
I know. I thought you'd think I'd be able to fight, but fuck, mate, I can't punch my way out of a paper bag. I tell you.
Okay, so 2003 goes on, and did you play the whole year, 2003?
Played the whole year. I actually got eye gouged midway through the year.
Yep.
So I'm legally blind in my right eye. So,
From that?
Yeah, tore the retina, the pupil. Surgery was out for, I think, 9 or 10 weeks.
And is it an intentional eye gouge?
No, it was accidental. Everything seems to be coming up about Melbourne, but we're playing Melbourne at Penrith Park, and Dallas Johnson went to tackle me, and I sort of ducked. His thumb went in the eye and popped it out.
Oh,
so
shit.
It came out, and I pushed it back in and
Oh, shit.
sort of closed my eye. And I can remember because Stephen Kearney, we kicked after that. Robbie Kearns ran at me.
Yep.
And I tackled him, and I had my eye closed the whole time. And he looked at me funny, like, what's wrong with your eye? And I opened it, and it was just like a black marble.
What?
And he sort of looked at the sideline. I went to the sideline, and the doc goes, you got a black marble for an eye, get off. And
Yep.
sitting in the dressing rooms, they open it up, and they're like, fuck, something's wrong. Send you to the hospital. Went there, got all the eye checks. They said, oh, you're sweet, it's just bruising. Go home. Day later, still couldn't do anything. So I went back for another check, and my retina had torn to within 1 millimetre or 2 millimetres of, once it's separated, you're physically
Fully
blind.
done. Yep.
So I went under the knife and stitched it back up, and then, so you can see the pupil at the moment. It's the only thing we couldn't fix.
Wow. Far. So you actually felt it pop out.
Yeah.
And you pushed it back in.
Because first thing when you get you feel something, you just go...
Yeah, you go like that, yeah.
And you can feel it go back in, and...
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
So,
and then you went and tackled up. How long did you stay on?
about 5 minutes. So I just ran around.
Just like that?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You always get told when we talk about like the concussions and all that, back then you were soft if you
100%.
showed any fear. And
This is the way I like to explain it. Back then, if you come off, you better be injured for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, if you can play the next week, you're soft.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you hear, especially in the front row.
100%. I mean, I shouldn't even be talking about it as a winger.
I'm thinking that too. Shit. That's the thing. You see wingers get in, you go, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get up. Like, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, you're on the sting.
You're just hanging around with our
Yeah,
team.
exactly.
But, and that's what I mean. So I just kept playing until I realised something was wrong.
Fucking dead, man.
Yeah. So I had 9 weeks off. And Langy said to me, he goes, I trust you because I've been playing. He goes, if you keep training and you show it, I'll put you straight back in.
Yep.
Put me straight back in about 4 weeks before semis. And I was perfect and played on and through.
Far out. And you friggin' nearly lost your eye.
Yeah.
So what's it like for you seeing now? Is it just a bit blurry? Or
it's good double vision, close one, and I can it makes me dizzy, but I can see the white and the black, but can't make out your face or anything.
Oh, wow. Far out. So,
yeah.
Is that something that, like, if that happened today, that you'd be compensated, and you wouldn't be compensated for that because it's a permanent injury at workplace? It's not really, like, not that you would,
that's
but...
what I mean, and you look at it, it's a permanent disability kind of thing. But, back then it was just like, so stitch it up and you're playing in a few weeks.
So you played 9 weeks later?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is fucking crazy, bro. That is fucking crazy. Wow. So, okay, you get through that year?
Yeah.
2004, year of the Panthers?
No, 2003, year of the Panthers.
2003, year of the Panthers.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. 4 weeks.
Oh, World Club Challenge 2004.
Yeah.
Okay, 2003, you win the GF, like after you've friggin...
gone through all that.
So, I mean, walk us through the whole fucking thing.
It was weird. It's surreal. It's I remember we came into the foot because we got minor premiership, and it was just the team had all the confidence in the world, and then the next thing you know, we're into the semis and we're playing Broncos first semi, and I'm thinking, fuck, Gordy, everything's going to happen. Fuck, this is going to happen. And I stayed quiet. I was at Penrith Park, and mate, they were up 14-0 or something. We're getting touched, and I remember we got a penalty in front of the post, and Gerds always picks up the ball to kick for goal. Yeah. And he picked up the ball, and he said to me, he goes, Rossi, run. I just ran, he tapped it and gave it to, because everyone's thinking, they all shut off thinking, he's going for goal. Yeah. Tapped it, ran between Gordy and Shane Webke to score a try.
Oh, yes.
I was just like, fucking get that in there.
Fuck
and
you,
I say it to him all the time. I go, fuck, remember when I ran over you for that try in the semi? And, we went on and just kept winning. Yep. So my parents actually came down every semi, and they said, we'll come down as long as you keep winning, but when you lose, because they didn't expect us to win the grand final. Yeah, we just won't come down, and made it through the grand final.
So the 2004 grand final?
2003.
2003 against the Roosters.
Yeah.
And so this was Freddie Fittler was playing still?
Freddie, yeah.
And that was... Did Roosters win?
They won 2002.
2, yes.
No, 2002. They lost in one in 2002.
In 2003. Who won 2000? Broncos? No, not Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos 2001. Was it?
I think it was around then. I think 96.
Yeah,
anyway,
it was Broncos 2001. Then Roosters, then us.
Then you.
And then Roosters played again against the Bulldogs in 04. So they made 4 years in a row.
Okay, so that was a glory days of all the Roosters. They had a gun side. So they had Fittler, Ryan Cross,
Adrian
Morley, Craig Wing would have been there starting.
He's still there, did you say Ryan Cross?
Yeah. The centre, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was good back then, man.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't get much. He kind of just,
Mick Crocker. A crazy bastard.
Yeah, he's a crazy bastard. Yeah, I've heard stories of him training and doing fitness and just spewing whilst he's just doing it, making the time still. Yeah. Just madman.
No, just relentless.
So that 2003 grand final, you play what was it like? So this would have been your second year in first grade. You've only played 20 games by now, if that, because you missed 9 games, 8. Yeah. So about 20 games, yeah. So you're just starting first grade. You're in the grand final. What was the lead up like? What was it kind of all like?
It was just exciting. Like I said, we had a number of old boys. We had all these young guys who were in the same boat. Like they'd only debuted that year or the year before, so they had 20 odd games underneath them. And that said, team was just confident. Just that young. Like we keep talking about all these young fellas who have all the confidence in the world, and I think our old fellas just harnessed that. Yep. And so they let us go for whatever we wanted to be. But it's just thinking back, I forget a lot of the memories of the grand final because it happened in an instant. So.
Yeah, and you're just kind of riding that wave.
Yeah. But grand final week and all those things, it's everything you imagine. And just phenomenal, surreal. I keep saying it.
So the start of the year, you put that jersey on for Penrith. You dreamed your whole life to play it. Yeah. By the end of the year, you're running out for the grand final. I'm sure MG, Mark Guy was back there, with you boys. All the old boys would have been behind you. Yeah. Was that a surreal experience going, fuck?
I just got tingles. My whole body just went when you were saying that. And it's just the support. Like you just think, I've got to play for my dream team. And then you run out playing a grand final for them. And to win that, you just my mum always says to me, you've never smiled as much as what you did after that. Like she said, it's the happiest you've ever been. Yep. It's just that moment. And I know going back to the club and you talk about the old boys. I remember talking to Mark. He's just going, it's fucking amazing. He did it 10 or 11 years before, and he just it's done again. He was so appreciative of the teams, and just good camaraderie between all the boys, and it literally is, apart from having kids, the best thing you could ever experience.
And like you're sitting there with your idol MG, talking about you just won a grand final.
Yeah.
You know, literally, if someone said that to you as a kid, you'd be like, that is too far fetched ever, even in a story. Like, yeah.
But it's the mentality of our team. Like we had a lot of single blokes, and the whole way back, what about the Sheila's going to be at the club and
just a bunch of young grubs.
And back then, as you said, there's no social media. I remember there were a few boys on Mad Monday passed out on pool tables and all that, and the cameraman would go to take photos, and the boys would go, "What are you doing?"
Come on, mate, don't do that.
And the media would look after you and go, "Well, it's your time," but now every man and his dog's got a camera phone. And so you say the experiences are totally different. Like you look at Sharks winning last year and what could have happened, and they could have torn the whole Cronulla apart 20 years ago, but they had to be so structured and made sure everything was ticked. And
it's I kind of feel like incidents that happen like in the year, you kind of like, mate, just focus on fucking footy. Like just focus on footy. But incidents that happen like Mad Monday, bro, I kind of feel like just don't go to them, don't film them, as in don't send helicopters over the field to fucking film them. Just let them be them by let them be by themselves. If they'd go out and do stupid things, then fair enough. But like, just fucking leave the boys alone for those 3 days. But the rest of the team, full responsibility.
Yeah.
Don't be a dickhead. You live in the dream.
Yeah, exactly. And you say that, live in the dream. They are now. They're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to do something that we all dreamed of doing.
Yeah.
Like every kid dreams of playing rugby league and playing first grade, and they're getting paid to do it. So. And
when I don't know about yourself, but when I was playing, I was just debuting as you were. A few years, but like I was a first grader on $50,000 a year. There's first graders. There's guys that aren't even in first grade on $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
So like, when you're playing, don't get me wrong, you are living the dream when we were playing, but you're not setting yourself up for anything. Like you can't save fucking any money with $50,000 a year. Like as a young kid you're living out of home it's completely different.
I think that's the reality check that kids need. That they get all this money. It's like, hey, you haven't earned anything yet.
Yeah,
like, back in the day, you're coming through the grade. You only got this much.
Yep.
Until you actually made yourself present in first grade.
It used to be like, so how, especially with the salary cap, it used to be like, there was these guys here, and even if they weren't better than the batch here, they had earned these contracts. So they would take the bulk of the salary cap because they were like, look, they may not be as good as this young forward, but he's worked his whole career for that contract. This is his reward. Yeah. And then the young guys would eventually get old enough, and then they'd get those contracts.
Doing an apprenticeship, you get your wage as you go.
Exactly.
But now, money, because it's the fight to get the best players, they're just throwing money.
I would love to see a system where every single club has to do it with the NRL, where there's like a cap that a young guy can make, and then they take the rest of that money and put it into like some kind of savings. So let's say Ponga, for example, he's going to be on nearly $1 million a year or whatever. Yeah. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but take $300,000 from him each year and put it into something, and say this is still your money. You're guaranteed it. It's just going to be given to you when you're fucking 27, 28, 29.
I remember signing my first contract at Sharks. It was the first time I'd actually got paid good money. And my accountant said to me, you've been living off $300 a week for the last 5 years. Yeah. Can you still do it? I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And he goes, okay, well, that money that you're earning now, I'm taking. And he just kept taking and paying off a house for me. And I didn't realise any different. But these guys now are coming and they're getting $200,000 and just going, wait, you can spend your $5,000 a week or whatever it is.
Yep, if you can spend it. You can spend it. You always find ways. Your living standard just continues to grow, continue to grow. Yeah. What's something that you remember from that grand final? You know, what's a cherished memory that you think back and go, wow, that was fucking amazing?
Before the game is the thing that I remember the most, and that's, as I said, the game's a blur. The game's totally a blur. But sitting before the sheds, I remember I was near an air vent and I could hear the music playing outside and the crowd screaming when they were naming the names. When I look over, I'm as nervous as hell. And looking over on the ground, I could see Preston Campbell asleep, and I'd never seen him that relaxed before a game. I'm like, fuck, something must be wrong if he's sleeping. And
he was asleep.
And so my nerves just went like that and just kept going. And then he suddenly, about 5 minutes before start, he just got up, bounced around, boots on, and he was on like that. And I was just like, oh, fuck. You can tell he was on. As soon as Preston's like, same with Gowie. Gowie was the same. And when they're on, and you knew it. And he was ready.
He literally fell asleep before the grand final.
Yeah, he was lying on a set of bags, like all the boys' bags just laying there. Just like,
Right, there's something about like just that calm attitude and confidence in his own ability. And did he go and play well?
Yeah, he was awesome.
Normal Preston Campbell.
Preston Campbell.
Preston freaking Campbell.
Every game he was perfect. So.
And he was just sleeping on the bags, not a care in the world.
Yeah, and you look around and see all these young fellas shitting themselves, thinking, like, we've got a massive game ahead. And I think it might have been a bit different because our forwards and their forwards, they had a running battle all year. And,
but still, you're a fullback. Those bombs in a grand final, crowd, far out. That's amazing.
Yeah, good time.
And so, so the next year, so we're rolling into 2004 here.
Yeah.
World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
So you went over to the World Club Challenge, did the full pre-season?
Yeah, we did the full pre-season and went to the World Club Challenge, which was an eye-opener. Like, never been in business class in an aeroplane before and hadn't been overseas. So.
Oh wow, that's your first time overseas.
It's overseas
for a World Club Challenge.
Yeah, and to say that and go, hey, we're going over and all you all get to go in business class because you're big and so forth. I was like, fuck, this is a dream. Like, it was perfect. It was you're living the dream. I'm playing for my favourite team and you're doing this. Yeah, World Club Challenge. But I think got the best of us when we got over there because of their culture, the drinking culture, and what we had in rugby league. It was pretty good. Like we partied hard while we were there.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. What any? I mean, you can obviously it's too hectic. But any stories from over in England?
Yeah, not really. Not many. I'd like to say because I'd incriminate too many boys. But yeah, no. I remember one thing. I remember that if you look at our trips, we played Bradford Bulls.
Yeah.
And after the game, like we got flogged. Like they were fucking amazing. Like don't know whether they were 10 times bigger than us. And I
don't know about their supplement programs over there that weren't very. Even now, their supplement programs are a bit.
Yeah. Well, we had Vanicolo. He was a winger. Mate, he was double the size of me and run like the wind. So, but I remember after the game, we went back to our hotel to get on the drink in the bar, and Bradford came in and they drank with us. And you don't see that anymore.
No, you don't.
You don't see teams going, okay, well, we're going to get together. And
and
I think back then it was a good thing. And that's probably the one thing I can
talk about. So that year rolls around. So 2004, you just won the premiership the year before. What was that next year for you? Was that usual, typical flat year, or did you actually go all right the next year?
No, we went really well. We we had a number of boys make Origin, so about 6 of us made Origin that year.
Yeah. So you made 2004. You made Origin.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and so we had a bit of a disrupted year, but I think we came in close to the top of the table.
Yep.
Made it through the semis. And made it to the game before the grand final where we played the Bulldogs, and they beat us to play the Roosters. Yeah.
In the grand final.
So it was
still a good year.
Yeah, a good year, but I missed half that year, so I was suspended.
Well, actually, before we go to suspension, take us to getting selected for Origin. What was that like for you? I mean, that would have been
Yeah, that was a dream come true. So people had started, media start talking about who's selected, and my name got thrown through a few times. And I thought, it can't be. I've only played a handful of games, 30 odd games, 40 games, and then sitting at home and I get this phone call from it's 07 number, so I'm thinking, my parents called from somewhere, and pick it up and I go, hello, and this guy on the other end goes, hey, it's Des Morris, and I'm like, oh fuck, Des Morris, like king of Queensland Rugby League, and thinking, this is fantastic, and what are you doing? And he goes, I just want to let you know that you should be calling your parents right now and telling them you're in the Origin team. I'm like, fuck, no, you're just kidding me. And he goes, no, serious, well done, and so forth. And he literally hung up on me, and I went, oh, fuck. And I rang my dad straight away and he said, never believe it. And he goes, yeah, it's already on the news up here. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
You took me back and stole me thunder.
Yeah. But, so it was perfect. And, small world that first day in camp, I said, you're rooming with Shane Webke.
Oh, really?
And I got in there and he looked at me and he goes, I know about you. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what? And he goes, my father-in-law's Sergeant Knapp. So his old father-in-law used to be a copper in the hometown in Country Road.
Oh, no.
He goes, he locked you up when you were 6. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's right. So I used to light fires.
Oh,
and
fuck.
So he and my mum caught me one time and put me in jail in like the old prison cell.
Trying to teach you a lesson.
Yeah, and it said they'll never feed me if I got locked up in jail again. So being a fat kid, I want my food.
Oh, fucking oath.
Fuck. So I stopped burning down houses. And,
you burned down a house?
Oh, I burnt down the back of my parents' news agency. And
holy shit. Like what? Yeah. Just
lighting fires, just going, and just lighting it, and big grass paddocks. And
fucking hell. So did you have an obsession with the
flame? I just...
Crypto, was it called Cryptomaniac or some shit like that?
Pyromaniac.
Pyromaniac, Cryptomaniac.
Yeah.
Cryptomaniac is fucking Bitcoin and shit. Pyromaniac.
Yeah.
Wow. So you actually were diagnosed with pyromaniac.
Oh,
shit.
No, they just said, people go, that's what it is. I'm like, no, just like lighting fires.
Sounds like it is. Yeah. You're like, I don't like fucking lighting fires, that's for sure. Fuck me dead. So you burnt down your parents' news agency.
I started to burn down their paperback at the shop and went out onto the grass and just literally...
Fuck me dead. So you walk in, Webke's there, he's just told you this fucking old man locked you up.
And then I'm thinking, I've really got to pull straight. He's the older guy, that respect level.
And Webke, this is Webke.
Yeah, he's a gun of all guns. And you get your allowance for the week in an envelope. He goes, see your envelope? I'm like, yeah. He goes, go down and get me a Mars bar, a Coke and the paper. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. Ran down and got it and came back and handed it to him. And he goes, and they're the rules. I'm like, oh. I just first week in camp was just like at his beck and call. And at the end of it, I'm not sure. No, we got beaten on extra time, but he goes, you've done your apprenticeship and it's all good now. So.
Far out. That's crazy. And like it's the crazy thing is that like I was at the Broncos too, and it was a similar situation. Like one of the older boys, like Sean Berrigan or whatever, said to you, "Fucking go do this." You just did it. You just did it. My first night, it's at 18th man, so I hadn't made my debut yet, and I was rooming with Sean Berrigan. He made me sleep out in the hallway the whole night. And I had to sleep out in the hallway. So I slept out on the hallway, woke up the next morning, got my kit, didn't say anything, got back on the bus.
Is that because he wanted to sleep?
No, he just locked me out. He just locked me out. And I slept in the hallway the whole night, and I didn't complain, just whatever, because that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
Just the way it was.
Oh, I bet Barrow. Some of my best nights have been with Barrow.
Oh man, he's an absolute, he's a larrikin. But the good thing, I remember a similar situation, like I was rooming with him, he locked me out, and he was just taking the piss out of me, and I was a young guy, whatever, I was just stoked to be there. I hadn't played NRL yet. But I remember like a few weeks later, he just pulled me aside, and he just, gave me the same similar chat, like, you'd fucking go all right, like, all that kind of stuff, and I was like, fuck, yeah, it's good. Like, I earn his respect by not being a wanker and sulking about all the kind of stuff, and so it's just funny that would not happen now. Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, I swear I didn't talk for a year, I reckon, in the first grade squad, because I was just like trying to not offend anyone, because I'd just walk in and they'd just be like, fuck you, can't be your hair, you shithead. Okay, so you play 3 games and then you make Origin again the next year. Oh, sorry, you said you got suspended. What did you get suspended for?
An elbow and a spear tackle in the one game.
Oh.
Both accidental.
Accidental.
Yeah, and it's cop 12 weeks.
What was it like being a forward that, you get suspended? So obviously you get a lot of negative media and people are like, fuck, he's a grub, he gets suspended all the time. Yeah. Like, you're a human being, but to them, they see you as this, they see you at your worst on the field, you're most aggressive, but off the field, just like, I'm just a normal bloke. Did that ever get to you? Or it was like, this is just footy. This is footy, they don't get it.
Yeah, a bit of both. Sometimes it got to you. So, like, when I elbowed Cooper Cronk, I knew that was a total accident. And people go, grub.
Intentionally
did it. And I felt like saying, well, I was knocked senseless the week before. I was out for 15 minutes. And so I probably shouldn't have been playing because the head concussion rule. Wasn't thinking straight. Everything was out. And people don't want to hear your excuses back then. Yeah. It's just like, so you put up with it.
Yeah. And I guess also, like, the thing is, you were knocked senseless the week before. No one said nothing about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But because you've got this, image of an enforcer, they kind of focus on it, and it's Cooper Cronk and everything like that.
Yeah, it was Cooper Cronk. That's the big thing, and they focused on it. And it's the thing that shits me about the media. Yeah. Is that they can muck up whatever they want. So you could have the perfect role model for rugby league, or they don't want him to be that. And they just fucking badmouth him, and that's the end of it.
Totally. And what frustrates me as well is they pretend they're like, we're just giving what the people want. We're just giving what the people. That's what they view the most, and that's what they read the most. But first of all, media can create the momentum for a story. You put a big headline that implies certain things, you're creating the momentum for people to get rolled up and all that kind of stuff. On top of that, you also have a responsibility. You have a platform that is massive and it affects lives. You have a responsibility that, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, the old fucking nerdy saying, but it's just the truth. Like, you have responsibility to be held accountable for what you write, and some of the stuff they write is just like, there's a person on the other end of that. There's a person. Is it going to take someone hurting themselves before you actually pull your heads in and be like, whoa, we actually need to be... See, the thing is, if you want to like be critical of a guy's performance or something he's done, sweet, but at least be held accountable for it. You know? Be willing to put your name to it and say, either I stuffed up or this is what I believe, kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely frustrates me. It's literally one of the main reasons why I started the show, so that you could genuinely see the boys as they are, not this image that is created by someone else that they have no control over to a certain extent.
Yeah, and that's the best thing about it and that's why you get people talking out here, because you honestly see what the real guy is.
Yeah, totally fucking true. Totally true. And the good thing is I get messages all the time, like for example, Paul Gallen is seen as an enforcer, media paints him certain ways. Had that many messages go, fuck mate, like I used to hate Paul Gallen, but I seen him, he's just a fucking normal bloke. Like,
he is
just
the best family man you'll see.
Yeah, just a normal bloke, and it was all from the interview, them just getting to see him like as a person. That's
what I mean, and it's like you talk about misunderstood, like a Todd Carney. Like, how many people think, and he is... See, I used to say he was one of the only footballers I'd trust to look after my kids if I had to go away somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like he's...
But he just does stupid things off the field, just like, And then he gets painted as like... The thing that I always wish they would kind of balance is like, okay, is this a stupid action that didn't hurt anyone? Is this a stupid action that is actually going to hurt someone and he should be seen as a bad person because he's had bad intent? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas they just conflate the two, you know? Silly mistake, bad person. Yeah. I just think that's bullshit. Yeah. Okay, so you have that camp with Webke, and then you get suspended, but you ended up making Origin again the next year, 2005.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Yeah, it was good. It's trying to relive some of these memories. It's a long time ago, man.
Oh man, and also like a lot of the boys, like when you walk them through their career, they're like, "Fuck, that actually was all right. That was pretty good." But when you're just by yourself, you don't think about it like that.
Yeah,
You're just like,
you never
whatever.
do. And so, I mean, you think, I think the brain always perceives more negatives. It picks out negatives and everything. I think 2005 series, and funny, I go back and Shane Webke is he's a big influencer in my footy career. And I remember playing one of the games and we're defending, and New South Wales were hammering us, and I just made a tackle and had to get back to A, and as I was running back, Shane Webke goes, "Get across here, come across," and I was fucked. And I thought, no, my position's on A this side, like at the first point, and they went Webby's way, and they went out and they scored, and I remember getting behind the line and standing there, and he said to me, "I asked you to get there for me, and you didn't do it." And from that day forward, I thought, fuck, I've let my teammate down, and I swore I'd never let another teammate down. If they needed me there, I'd be there.
Yep.
And it put me in good stead playing with a phenomenal player like that. You learn that lesson.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's so much you can, like, I mean, you're at Origin, the pinnacle, but you're still learning. And, you know, technically maybe you did make the right decision for yourself, as in that was your position to be A on the other side, but a veteran that knows the flow of the game, know what's going on, you know, can override that, and you'd learn from that situation. Next time a veteran says...
Does that,
just listen.
Yeah. Well, it's not even a veteran. It's if your teammate needs you, you've got to go.
Yeah, got to go. Yeah, it's a good story though, Webke, far out. Good story to have, better than like some random that, you know.
Oh, yeah. But I regret it, because I let down someone like that. Like I remember looking him in the eyes, and he goes, "You let me down." Like, oh, fuck.
You've broken me heart, Webke. You've broken me heart.
It's killed me. But,
Okay, so how was that year for you though? 2000 and that rest of the
2005. It was it was a hard year. 2000. What was it? 2005. Yeah, very hard year. Because you see every team after winning a grand final, the players they lose within their team, because of the cap, the stars go up. Like, as I said, in 2003, we had all these young kids who were on nothing, and then their wages started going up, and I'd signed for nothing for 3 years, pretty much. So I was sitting there, and in 2005, they came knocking on my door halfway through the year, and Johnny Lang and Shane Richardson said, "I'll come into the room. We've got to have a chat to you." I went, "Okay," and I'm thinking, "Fuck, wonder must be offering me a contract or because I'm off." And they go, "Oh, we hate to do this to you, but with our cap, we figured out things, and all these boys are on big money, and if we have to let them go, we've got to pay them out, and we can let you go to another club, and you can quadruple what you're on now."
Yep.
And we'll all be better off. And I was like, "Fuck, I don't want to though.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to another club. I want to stay here."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, letting you and someone else go. If you want to go," I sort of said, "Oh, I don't want to. I'll stay. I'll stay for nothing." And
yeah,
we sort of it ended there. I thought, "Oh, that's fine." And then I get a phone call from my manager, and he said, "Weigh up the situation now. You won a grand final. You're playing Origin. It's time to go and set yourself up for life." And
yeah.
I had another heart-to-heart with Langy and said I'll always stay at Penrith. No matter what, that's all I wanted to do. And he goes, "Yeah, but it's for your career and for your lifestyle and future." And he said it's your best option, and that's where I end up signing with Cronulla.
Okay, so it was just one of those. It's tough though because I'm sure in those 3 years when you were on nothing, and I could be wrong, but they were constantly saying to you, "Promise you, next contract, you'll get rewarded for this. You'll get rewarded for this," or was it not like that?
Yeah, not at Penrith. Not at Penrith. Everyone was it was a happy environment.
Okay.
The whole 3 years there was really good.
So it was relatively honest with you.
Yeah, and that's the best thing about Langy. He was always honest.
Okay.
So, and yeah, I was just pretty happy where I was. And
yeah,
we moved forward with that. And
so it's just a genuine bad situation where they just couldn't afford, as in, they'd have to get rid of like 6 blokes. Yeah, and also...
Well, if they got rid of us two, they wouldn't have to pay anyone else. So you got rid of a Tony Puletua who was on a big amount of money.
Got to pay him.
You have to pay another club to take his money. So why not say, well, there's 2 guys on bare minimums, like we talked about, 50 or 60 grand a year. That's not a big loss.
Yeah,
and they're worth this.
Yeah,
let them go earn the money.
Yeah, totally.
And that's when I realised that rugby league these days is a business.
Is a business. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get too many of those 300 game veterans at the one club.
Oh, totally. And I don't think it's the players. No, I think it's genuinely more the club that makes those decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to the Sharks, and so what was that whole process like for you? What did it kind of feel like? And
I went to the Sharks because of the lifestyle. Like I said to Langy, I'd lived in the Shire, so I wanted to go back there and play with a team that I actually enjoyed the environment too. I thought I'm not going to go like. I wasn't going to go home to Queensland.
Yeah.
I sort of said I'm not going. I want to stay and be my own person for a while. And
I
thought I've got to get close to a beach. So going back to Cronulla and enjoying that lifestyle, and the group of blokes that we had there is amazing. And our trainer Trent Elkin at the time, and made me fitter than I'd ever been in my life.
Okay.
He had that relentless attitude of get fit and the game will come. And loved every minute of being at Cronulla. It's I think the first 6 or 7 games of the season, we were second on the table and going along really well. And we went back, and it was a big talk. Round 7, we were playing Penrith. It was a game of all games. Oh, Ben's going to get his payback.
Yeah.
And so kick-off comes for the Penrith game. Like I've been playing well, and I'd really enjoyed it. I'd been in the Australian training camp ready for maybe the test. Like there was a selection game, this Penrith game. I'm thinking, fuck, it's all come into one.
Yeah.
Is this meant to be me?
This is my moment.
Yeah, and we kicked off, and I remember we kicked off to Gow, and he passed to Joel Clinton.
Oh, Joel Clinton.
And I thought, front row, I'm going to knock him. I've got to put it on. And as I ran, I stepped into a little divot in the field and snapped my knee, knee. And so I made the tackle and thought, it must be just a call. It's something you don't want it to be true, and just running and made 1 or 2 sets and was just throbbing. And Doc said, "Come off and we'll test it." And and literally when they do that yanking, you just go. And he said, "Yeah, you've done your knee," and my world come crumbling down. Like I know I've seen a replay of the game, and they actually were in the sheds when you see the doc go, "You're done," and I just went.
Oh, really?
Just emotional. Like, it's all I've just been through those ups and downs of injuries, and thought, fuck, when am I going to get a break? And
a full year of just clean footy kind of thing.
And so that was my year over then, but continue on from there. And Ricky Stewart became our coach next year in 2007, and great coach to get you up for a game.
Yeah, okay. Old school?
Old school. And just, you got to fucking kill them, you got to do this and you got to do that. And
yep.
You're always up, which is, it's hard to maintain.
Oh, totally.
2007 and 2008, we were great.
Yep.
I think we equal minor premiers in 2008 with the team we had. And
yep.
Coming into the semi-finals of 2008, the first week of semis, we played Canberra and flogged them.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we're on. We're going to win. We skip a week and then go play Melbourne in the next week. In that week off, we decided to get on the drink after Canberra. There's the Greg Bird incident with his ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
So he gets suspended. So in the week, we're like, we got to brighten the move. We've just lost one of our best players.
Yeah.
We're playing soccer, forwards versus backs. Danny Nutley shoulders Brett Seymour.
Oh.
Brett Seymour steps on a soccer ball and snaps his knee.
Oh, my God.
So we lose our halves pairing.
Yep.
In that game, pretty much, and we get flogged by Melbourne 40-0.
Well, we played Melbourne the week before.
Oh, did you?
And we, one of our forwards dropped the ball coming out of our end with a minute to go, and we were winning, and they scored on the buzzer pretty much to beat us, and we were going to play you. So we saw Storm go on to do that to you.
Yeah.
And we were all devastated because we were like, we would have fucking put a cricket score on them.
Yeah.
And we had such a side that year that we would have given Manly like a massive run.
That's why we had it all over Manly. We're like, we got to get through this game. And fucking Cameron Smith gets suspended and Manly romp it in 40-0. Or 40,
good.
Just
if?
those little things, isn't it?
Yeah. What if?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next year,
2009.
Yeah, this would have been 2009.
Yeah. So I thought, finally had 2 years under my belt after doing my knee. I'm thinking, no, I've got to push for Origin. Like I'm 28, 29, good front row here, and I think I should be able to get back in the Origin team.
Yeah.
So I trained my ass off and come to the first game of the season, and that's the Penrith game. We played at home at Shark Park.
Yeah.
And it was like the ultimate storm. As we ran out, this lightning storm came across.
Oh, really?
And it literally, they should have called the game off. It was that
wow.
bad. And when they kicked off, literally the ball went up, and the halfbacks normally catch it. This just went everywhere. I was watching thinking, oh, fuck, he's not going to catch it. What's going to happen? And it bounced. So I just started running, closing my eyes, and literally bounced in my hand. Next thing I was in a break, I was running for the try line. Thinking, fuck, I'm playing Penrith, I'm doing this. I'm looking around thinking, someone fast has got to do it. And I looked right, and Brett Carney was on my left, and all I had to do was that, and he scored. And I looked right and got tackled, and I was like, fuck.
You bombed it.
So, and when literally 5 minutes later, Brett Carney broke his ankle. So we talk about this all the time, that we started off, it could have been 100% start rate for the year, and he breaks his ankle, and then 56 minutes into the game, I get into a tackle, go low, thinking I'm taking a guy to the ground, and as he's going to the ground, he suddenly starts coming back at me, and I'm thinking, he's not driving it. So two other guys were pushing him back over onto me.
Oh, okay.
And as I tackled it, they landed on my head, and my chin hit my chest. I'm going to tackle Adam Warnell, and I think I'll pull his legs together and I can take him down. And as I was taking him down to the ground, I felt him coming back over me, and I'm thinking, fuck, I've got his legs together. He can't be driving back. How's he coming back over me?
Yeah.
Realised that as he's coming towards me, I can see two other bodies pushing him back, so my teammates. And he landed on the back of my head, and my chin hit my chest, and as it hit my chest, I felt this snap, and I heard like a massive crack. Like still to the day, hear it, and I'm laying there in the tackle, and my arms were numb. I couldn't move my arms or anything like that, but I could still move my legs, and I'm thinking, fuck, something's wrong here. And we spoke about before that Ricky Stewart always used to say to me that...
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. 2 seconds, sorry. Sorry, bro. We'll be able to edit this in.
Yeah. Yes. I'll just say I'll start from where I couldn't feel my arms. Yeah.
Fuck it out. Oh, good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I couldn't feel my arms. They were just like stiff. It was just like hard, and I remember thinking, fuck, something's wrong. I can move my legs, but I can't move my arms. I'm laying here, and someone's trying to pull me out of the tackle, and they sort of pulled me to the side, and they played the ball and kept going. And I thought, oh shit, Ricky Stewart's always said to me, unless you're going to die, get back in the fucking line and defend, because don't show you hurt. And so we were riding our try line, and I thought, okay, I'll get up, and I'm standing next to the post, and they'd gone away, and they'd kicked the ball into the in goal, and I'm sort of leaning against the post, couldn't move my arms, and I could stand there, but couldn't move my neck or anything. And I remember the trainer coming up to me and he goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "I heard a snap in my neck." And he goes, "Don't move." And he just grabbed my neck and just held it. And he called for the medicals and all that, and they put me in the stretcher. And I remember just the pain, like it was just excruciating. I went and saw the doctor this morning actually about it, and he goes, "I remember how much pain you're in." And they couldn't explain it, that your legs were moving but your arms weren't. And they got me into the sheds, and I remember laying there and like they were going through all their tests and all that, and I heard the siren go and we'd won. All the boys were coming in, and going, "Oh yeah, we won. You're okay, Rossi, da da da." And then one of my teammates, and I don't like saying it, but came up and he said, "Oh, you're okay," and tapped me on the shoulder because my arms weren't. And the hit of that, my feet went poof, and I couldn't feel my whole body.
Oh man!
And I was just like, I just went blank, and they're like, "Something's gone," like that. And so they ambulance to the hospital, and this is what we're talking about this morning. Is that got to St. George Hospital, and they did all the scans, and they're saying I could talk, I could do it, but I couldn't move my arms or legs. And they're like, "No, the scans are coming up right. They're all good. It must be just bruising of the spine. You'll be right. You'll come good the next day." And
what? And you're like sitting there going, "I can't fucking move my legs."
I can't move. I'm like, and my wife, I'd only just got married. She was like hysterical.
Yeah. And
I'm in a brace, and everyone went home, and I said to my wife, "You got to go home and get some rest." And laying there in hospital, I remember looking at the ceiling. I'm like, "This is what it feels like," and like just alone. And I remember because I'm allergic to painkillers. So,
oh my God.
So they injected stuff, and I started spewing them because I couldn't move. I'm just spewing into my mouth. I'm like, and the nurse comes past, and I'm like trying to spit it out, trying not to choke, and she's like, "Oh shit," and called all the medicals and all that. And the next day, nothing had improved, and they said, "Oh, we'll go for another scan." And it was like they didn't care. They just rolled me across on the beds and all that. I'm like, "Fucking go."
Yeah.
And they did these scans. They go, "Yeah, we're not sure of what we're seeing here," and all that. And I'm like, "You go back up into the room, and you should be laying flat when you got a spinal injury." And they tilted the bed, and I was sitting up on the bed. And to this day, and you asked Dave Riccio, well, a good mate of mine, reporter, and he came into the room that afternoon. I'm sitting on the bed, and on an angle going, "I can't move. I'm in that much pain," and all this kind of stuff. And the cleaner comes in. And this is something out of fucking a comedy movie. Cleaner comes in around the bed, taps the lever, bang, the bed goes flat.
What?
And I start screaming and just my missus starts crying. Dave Riccio's like, and didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
As that literally 5 minutes later, like I'm in pain, the nurses all around me. The doctor comes in with the medical stuff and goes, "We've got to take you to St. Vincent's now." He goes, "Your neck's like severed, like the bones are all broken, and the discs exploded into your spinal cord." And he goes, "What's the go?" And they just said, "Oh, he was sitting upright in the thing," and he just started flipping out the dock. And they got emergency medical in, and the green whistle. Fuck the green whistle.
Oh, the green whistle. Oh my God.
And and they put me to St. Vincent's, and when I woke up, I was in ICU. So I'd gone from a normal hospital bed into ICU.
Yeah.
And I had this nurse patting my forehead telling me I was okay. And
yep.
I was like, "Fuck, where am I?" Like, it just, everything in blur. And then Dr. Parkinson, he is a god, the surgeon. He's done a lot of guys' necks now.
Yep.
He literally came into me and said, "Oh, your neck's pretty bad. We don't know whether you're going to ever move again. We'll keep you here overnight, and in the morning we'll operate." And so they literally just went boop and put me out again. So I was at peace.
Yep.
Next morning he comes in, and my wife had come to the hospital, and he sort of in the bed, and I remember, it's tough. The first thing he said to me, he goes, "We're going to operate, and this is it." Okay. And he said, "But there's no guarantee you'll ever walk again." And he sort of said, "I want you to be with your wife now, and I'll go, and I'll see you after the operation." And I remember he walked out, and I turned to my wife and I said, "If I'm like I am now, put a pillow on my face," and just done.
Wow.
Because I don't want her to put up with
that through. Yeah.
Well, imagine just having a big fat shit like myself laying in the bed, just going, "Oh, feed me."
Yeah. You can't, if you're fully paralysed, not just a bit where you can. You'd be like fully,
done.
And so you just said, "Look, just do it. I want to go," kind of thing.
Yeah. And so,
wow.
And that was pretty much the last thing I said to her. And they wheeled me in for the operation. And came out of the operation, and literally, like, it took a long time. I was laying there, and Parkinson came back in. He said, "Oh, we've strapped you to the bed and all that kind of stuff. We're going to unstrap you. When we pulled out your disc out of your spinal cord, it started hemorrhaging, and we've tried to fix that and done all this work." And he goes, "Try and move your fingers." And I was strapped down, and I hadn't tried to move anything and I just went like that, and I could move my fingers, and I was like, "Fuck, this is awesome." So I'm starting to move something.
Yeah.
And progressively over the hours, so after everything was wearing off, I could start moving, and I could move my upper body, but I couldn't feel my lower body.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is a bonus and pretty good. And woke up the next morning, and you know how you wake up and you forget about what's happened. And I literally sort of sat up. I was like, hang on. And I tried to wiggle my toes, and my big toe moved. And he said he doesn't know how it happened or whatever it was, but progressively over the next 8 days, I was able to start moving my body and trying to learn how to walk again.
And they still don't know how it'll happen.
Still to this day. So I still had another 2 operations after that because I wanted to play football again. But so I had 2 more neck operations to really get it strong and do it again. But yeah, I owe everything to Richard Parkinson. He's phenomenal. And he tells it as it is. Like he said, I don't think it's going to ever work, but it worked.
Far out. And so, I mean, first of all, going from maybe never being able to move your body to moving it, I'm sure the appreciation you would have had would have been like, man.
And to the day I still do. And I think that's why I help so many people out now who have had injuries or in hard times, because I know the roller coaster and I know exactly what they're all going through. And like I said to my wife, kill me. So I've gone from that level to being thankful and being able to help people. Yeah.
And so the journey back to footy, what was that?
Yeah, 2 years of learning how to walk, run, pass, do everything. So the first year was the toughest. So 2009, I wasn't around the boys at training, so it was a catch that the staff and the medical team at Sharks didn't want me to be around the boys because it was really hard for them to see that I had a broken neck. And so I was never near them. I just trained and tried to do my physio and all that away from them. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, there are at times where you just contemplate things. Like for the first 3 or 4 months, I always thought, nothing's going to happen. Like you're on a good contract, and back then you're injured, they can cut you straight away. And so I thought everything was over, and it was that roller coaster ride of learning to do everything. And in 2009 in Origin Series, as I said, I could walk. John Lang called me and he said, "I know you're hurting right now, and come over and watch Origin with me." I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be great, mate," because he lived down the road, and it was just me and him. I was surprised. I thought it was his whole family going to be there. And he goes, "Oh, I know you want to play footy again." I'm like, "Yeah, but no one's going to give me a contract." He turned to me, he goes, "Do you reckon you can play footy?" I said, "If I keep training and everything, I know I can play footy." He put out his hand because he was at South at the time. He said, "You've got a contract with us if you can get back on the field." I was like, so whether he was saying it to get my well-being up and everything to be right. And
give you direction to aim for something kind of thing.
Yeah, and so the next year I started with South Sydney and was running. And as I said, I had all these operations. Each time I went, so I'd done the full pre-season with South and wrestling and all that. And before the first game, I'd been named. They said, "We just need one more check before you."
Yeah.
So when they checked my neck, I had a hairline fracture, so I couldn't. So they put me off, and then halfway through the year, the same thing, and had another one. And so Parkinson said, "This time we're going to jam it all closed." And it comes to 2012, and I returned to Redfern, and Lang goes, "You're in the team. You're allowed to play. You're going to be captain."
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh, wow, really? Like, thanks. It's an honour. And fuck, that's the most nervous I've ever been running out on that
really?
field for that. So. Yeah, and it's funny, you talk about Gordy at the start of my career. Gordy was one of the trainers at South then.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, I was nervous because I know he'd been through the same thing. And I said, "What am I going to do? What am I fucking going to do?" And he goes, "What you're going to do is when the toss comes up, no matter whether you win or lose, you just say, 'We want to receive.'
So that you can run."
And then he said, "And get them to kick the ball to you. And when you catch that ball, run at the biggest fucking bloke you can and let him whack you. And you'll know whether you're right." And to the day we won the toss, I got the select. We got the kick off, and it came to me. I turned to the captain and said, "Can you kick it off to me?" And he goes, "Yeah, sweet."
So you asked the other captain to kick you?
I said, "Can you just tell him?" Because it was a trial.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I said, "Fuck, just kick it to me because I want to see."
Who was the other captain?
Caleb Debb, he played in the Newtown, and we played Newtown. So,
Okay, yeah.
And he'd played first grade, and I said, I need to know.
Yeah.
I ran straight back at him because he's fucking huge. And he whacked me. He literally flipped me. And I remember the crowd
Yeah.
And I turned up, played the ball, and that was the end.
And you were sweet.
Sweet. And ended up playing every game that year.
Far out. So when you made it back to NRL, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, amazing. It was just like, so I played the trial and played all the trial matches, and running out for South Sydney Rabbitohs is something. It's prestigious. They've been there a long time. So not only running out for such a great club, but this milestone that I got back in the NRL, and as I said, I played every game that year. I didn't miss a game, and it's the first time I'd done it in my whole career.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's great. So you put that jersey back on to run up. Was the moment for you more when you ran out and did that first run for reserve grade, or in the trial? Sorry, or was the moment more for you when you put the NRL jersey back on and said, from 2009 till 2012, 11, that journey has all been worth it. That hard yards.
Yeah, I think it was the trial match. You're going, okay, this is the sticking point. Yeah. So it's because once you get through that first match, you're back.
Yeah, you're sweet.
And it was just that sticking point. And I remember doing a video the whole way, the old camcorders. It wasn't the phones and going along. And you got people like Jason Clark, Chris McQueen, Bo Falloon, all these guys, Sutto, all played major first grade and won grand finals. And they're all young kids around me. I was like, wow. And I watch it a heap. It's amazing.
That's sick. That's unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. So, so you continue to play. You go back to the Sharks for a year?
Yeah, so after a year at South, I thought I haven't got long in my career to go, and getting into business, and we had a pharmacy in the Shire, and I thought I want to get back and make my name known in the Shire. So went back to Flano and said, mate, I'll practically come for nothing. I just want to play and do what I do. And he literally said, straight on the spot, and it was good. And just really enjoyed being part of that squad. It was a tough year. Like, we had Toddy and the boys there, and of course the ASADA stuff came through, and dealing with the boys that have been involved with that, you don't wish that on anyone. You never see you wish that on anyone. And I was lucky enough to play 2 years with the Sharks, and I remember my last touch of the ball before I retired. So I retired in 2013. We played Canberra down in Canberra, and Jeff Robson kicked the ball and it got charged down. I picked it up, and it was literally over the line as I picked it up to score a try. Yeah. And as we had this, and we talked about Gibbo before, one of the best bloody blokes you'll ever meet.
Yeah. Bryce Gibbs.
He, we always said if you score, the next time you get the ball and you think you're going to score, you're going to run around the end goal until your front row mate can come and you're giving the ball to score the try. No nudie run. And I remember I'd scored in the year, and as I picked up this ball to dive over the line, I was literally on the way down. You hear the commentators go, Ben Ross has scored a... Hang on, no, he hasn't. Gibbo at the last minute goes, Rossi. And I flick out, and Gibbo's there, and he scores a try. And it's the first try I scored in 8 years.
He scored in 8 years? Yeah. And that was your last touch?
Yeah, it was my last touch of the ball. And I was like...
Far out.
Dream, like, this guy that made me enjoy my footy and do everything. It's just like... Mate, it's celebrated like we won the grand finals.
Oh, that's sick. It's such a good way to go out. Yeah, far out.
And we always laugh about it.
Yeah. That's sick. So we'll fast forward a bit because I know your time is short. Footy show. Oh, man. I mean, talk about injuries. Poor bloke. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, what was that whole feel like? That whole thing, like, it's such a bizarre scenario, for a...
Yeah, it's
Just walk us through the whole thing.
I was the producer, Glenn Palliser, great mate, and get along with him really well, and saw him down at Costco down the road here, and shopping through the centre and getting all the lollies, as you know, I like a lot, and fit as a fiddle, so I could eat what I wanted. And next thing, this guy pops up behind me, and it's Glenn, and I say, "Oh, how you going, mate?" He goes, "Listen, we're thinking about doing this arm wrestling comp for the footy show, and we want to get men in league involved, and we'll raise money, and it'll be a great skit." And I said, "Yeah, perfect, mate, and count the foundation in, and we'll organise the people." And I wasn't going to be part of it. And then we needed 8 guys, and I remember the work coming to me and saying, "Hey, we need one more fella to come in, and we can't get someone, so can you go in?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go." And we get through all the trials and and it comes up to the grand final where I'm versus Wendell Saylor, and everyone knows Wendell Saylor. And I'm sitting out the back, and I suppose this is a chance. I used to mouth off I used to say, I'm not strong, guys. My shoulders, I just don't feel right in the arms. And Hey, Wendell had heard that all the weeks leading up when I was psyching out guys. And he goes, "You're not going to fucking get me this time." And he was pumped. And he'd been, and you know how big he is.
Yeah, he's friggin' massive.
We get into the first arm wrestle and they strap us, and they'd never strapped us before.
Oh no!
And I'm thinking that's not right. And as we started, it felt really weird, and I let him win. Like I looked at him and just dropped my hand like slowly, so it wasn't bang. And we're walking off, and I'm like, oh man, that felt weird, and like just awkward. He goes, "You're fucking trying to psych me out, you bastard!" And he's hammering me, and I'm like, "Fuck, man, I'm serious, no strap." Like, he goes, "No, fuck yeah," and I'm like, "No, mate, no strap." Agree. Second wrestle, no strap. He goes, "Okay, no strap." And we get back out there, and you're sitting there just before the countdown, and we're holding hands, and they go 10 seconds, and they're like, "Yeah, okay." I'm looking at him, and he goes, "Fucking be serious this time." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I'm thinking, I've got nothing to lose. And as they counted down, they start strapping our hands. I'm like, that's not what we're about, man.
Yeah, but you can't stop the friggin' show and be like...
So, like, I don't want to seem like that sook. Just do it. It's all fun. And I'm thinking, okay, so, again, I'm thinking there's only one way I can get him is to get him straight away, like, bang.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there, I'm ready to go. And as I ready to run, 3, 2, 1, I just went, boom. And as I threw down, I thought, I've got him. And Wendell said to me to this day, he goes, "You had me at an angle. I thought I was going to lose." So because we're strapped together, he had nothing to lose. So he threw his arm, and the forces combined literally snapped my arm and back to the other side. And you talk about, I laugh at people talking about out-of-body experience with car crashes and all that. It's the first time I've ever had one.
Yeah.
And I literally can see, I'm looking down on it going, it's like I was in a TV camera seeing it happen. And then suddenly zoom back into the body, and I remember, and the people going, "You didn't really like scream, like you didn't carry on. You just
until you've seen it.
Fuck, my arm." Yeah. I'm like, it was shock. You don't know what it was. And I said, if you would have seen me in the back of the footy show screaming afterwards, because the ambulance didn't come for 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah. And
did you have anything to? You're allergic.
Oh. Well, see, I can have that stuff and can spew, so I can have painkillers and just.
So you may as well just do it and spew.
And so, I'd taken up a family for work to there, and she was an off-duty paramedic. So this mum ran out of the crowd to stabilise me and do everything out the back, and she goes to the staff at like the footy show, the security guards, "Hey, you got a medical kit somewhere? Come get it. I need it. Need to give him the whistle."
Yeah.
They open up the medical kit.
No whistle.
No painkillers.
Which is work health and safety.
Oh, it's everything.
Nightmare.
And I'm like, no. And she goes, well, at the other end you should have one at the other end. And same thing. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I'm laying there with my arm on this big fat fella's belly because it's soft. Fucking the muscles constricting, the bones ripping apart, everything. I'm like, oh, what are you going to do? And she goes, oh, this is the only thing I can do after the 2 medical kits weren't there. She goes, they're just going to come because they got a broken arm. They'll be forever in an ambulance. She called in a cardiac arrest saying he's going into a heart attack. So they were there in 3 seconds.
As soon as you said that.
Yeah. And they put 5 vials of morphine into me, and it still didn't stop the pain.
Fuck.
Yeah. And I was
5 vials of morphine.
Yeah, so they say, 3's pretty bad, and if you've got like compound fracture, 5. But they said, because you've been sitting there for 40 minutes, it's just torture. So they filled me, took me to the hospital, and they'd by that stage they'd put my arm into here and strapped it all up so it was nice and neat. And
so I wasn't just hanging there.
I was just like, oh fuck, I'm in a pretty good place. They go, we've got to go X-ray it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'd seen all these guys going in for X-rays in the X-ray machine, and they wheeled me past it when they were going. I'm like, hey, X-ray machine's just there.
Yeah.
So no, we've got to go down to this one, and kept going and going, and they put me through a door, and they locked it all, and I said, why am I in this room? And they said, because we've got to straighten your arm back out.
Oh, fuck.
And I remember,
oh, my.
Fuck, I'm like, oh, no, it should be okay, I got the morphine. He said, you will fucking scream. I'm like, oh, no. And he just literally went like that, and I yelled. My wife heard me back at where she was sitting at the bed, and it was the worst because I had to straighten it out to see what was happening. And yeah, literally, I think I fainted from the pain there.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The next thing I know, I wake up in the morning with the operation.
So, like, what do you remember in that moment when it all happened? And you're on the footy show. You're on 300,000 people are watching. Yeah. What was that moment like for you? Did you see anyone's face? Like, you know how you're like...
Well, that's the thing. I I remember it was the out of body. I can see everything. I can see the whole crowd. So I don't know whether after it I'd actually seen a camera and
just put it into your head kind of thing. Yeah.
So I don't know, and I can hear, like I talk about snaps. I can hear that snap constantly. And
I couldn't watch it. I had to I just couldn't watch it. I just couldn't. I just felt terrible for it. I was like, was it a weird feeling like? Because you're obviously like you're a good bloke, so you'd feel like I feel bad for ruining the show or anything like that.
Yeah, I went out the back and I was like, oh fuck, like that just happened. Like I looked at Wendell and I was like, when I saw his face, I thought first thing I thought was I could hear Bo going, oh fuck.
Wigging out.
Yeah,
Bo would have been wigging.
It was the best, and to this day,
oh fuck. Oh, fuck.
He messaged me every day going, yeah, okay, man, I feel like I'm to blame because I was the one who held your hands at the start. Like, yeah, he's superstitious.
Man.
And
Yeah, and then you feel bad because you're like it's not your fault, but then, like, Wendell feels bad. Like,
and I see him, Wendell, but it was funny, the next day in hospital, Wendell comes into the hospital to see me and he goes, how you going? I'm like, yeah, good. He goes, I got you something. And he pulled out a Kit Kat and went,
oh,
like
fuck
to me,
off.
Like, you smart ass.
Fuck, you're lying. You just had a fucking operation.
And he starts laughing. He goes, it doesn't matter. I got you this Crunch Bar. Or whatever. I was like,
just kept taking a piss.
Like, fuck, you're a bastard.
Oh, goes, that's the Dell.
I've called your wife and made sure she's okay and the family's okay. And because I just had my second baby. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't want the missus to go through all that. And yeah, so it's funny. You realise who your mates are. We talk about that when you lose your stardom. And like when I got injured, like, people go, oh, fuck, and just like, and you see the real people come out and go, yeah, okay. And Wendell was one of those guys, like, you always knew him as this lovable kind of character, but mate, he was on the ball all the time, and same with Bowie and a few of my other mates. But you just think the guys you least expect it to do,
100%,
just come out and blow you out the park.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
I mean, to this day, like I saw Bo this morning at coffee, and to this day, I'm in debt for those guys for making sure I was okay.
Yeah, that's so good. It's like, it's such a negative experience, but it's such a positive experience. You know what I mean? Like, you got these mates for life that you've had this bond. And so, you know, has everything been taken care of for you?
Or? It's been 2 years now, and I just had my last, hopefully my last operation on it. So 3 or 4 now, and I've got nerve damage. I've got a fair bit of resulting pain from it, but I don't know where I stand at the moment. Like, it's whether it's covered in medical insurance or Channel 9 or wherever it is. But at this point in time, I'm just waiting. All I want is my arm to be better. You never, like, I've got to have a shoulder replacement in 10 years, the doc says, like, because of all this shit. And all I wish is that I have my arm back.
Yeah, no amount of money, or you just want the money.
Yeah, like I just had, funny enough, 2 years later, had a little baby boy, and I can't pick up more than 3 kilos in my arm, so he's 3.5. So I hold him in my left arm the whole time. You think, if he falls, do I catch him? Like, you're going to catch him, but what's it going to do to your arm? And
far out.
Yeah, so I really just, I just, to this day, like I keep saying, it's not about, like, people go, you can sue Channel 9 for all the money in the world, or, mate, it's not the case. It's I want my fucking arm back.
Yeah.
And then until that happens, and
everything else just doesn't matter right now. You just want your arm back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You get your head, like we talk about head. You want to get your head right. Well, until my arm's right, my head's never going to be right.
Yeah, that's so true.
Your life's been taken away from you. Like I was surfing, playing golf, I'd retired, and all that shit had finished. Like no injuries ever again. And now I can't play Oztag. I can't do any of that because if it goes the wrong way, I'm fucked.
And is there any hope that it will heal, or not? That's it.
Oh man, I'm always hoping. I'll come back from a broken neck. I've always got hope, but I'll hear probably the bad news on end of August, and I'm pretty scared about it.
Yep.
Because it's been 4 or 5 weeks now since the arm op, and maybe a bit longer, and they said it should be healed by now. And constant burning in my arm.
Oh wow. And you can't. It's not like you can take painkillers to fucking.
Yeah, and that's when my wife won't let me. Being a pharmacist, she goes, "You don't need drugs."
Yeah, or you're just going to get addicted because your body will just naturally get addicted.
Yeah, well, you know that it's going to stop your pain, and you're just going to keep going. So she said, put up with it.
Far out, man.
She sounds like one of my old coaches. Just fucking put up with the pain.
Ricky Stewart, bro. Your missus is Ricky Stewart.
Don't do that. Next time I'm in bed with her, I'm like, oh shit,
it's sticky. Oh man, no, that's yeah. I mean, I better let you go, man. Because first of all, favorite rapper of all time.
Favorite rapper.
Yeah.
I've got a number, but I'd say Biggie Smalls is pretty good.
Biggie Smalls, favourite movie of all time?
It's funny. You talk about this. You go, I've got two. I've got as a kid one, Fox and the Hound, little cartoon, and my kids now watch it. So, but serendipity.
Serendipity.
Yep. So because things happen.
Bit of a soft
No,
inside, mate.
The thing of it, things happen for a reason. That's why I say I broke my neck for a reason. I did that for a reason.
Yeah.
Mate, I tell you, breaking my arm, it was for a reason.
Yeah, it's weird. As I grow older, all of those cliches I used to hear, I used to be like, that's bullshit, man, whatever. But as you get older, it's like, those cliches, they got to be something behind them.
Yeah.
Everything does happen. Oh man, it's been so interesting. I'm I'll probably get you back on because there's so much more stuff I'd love to hear. And you're gonna begin mental health talks and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I want to be able to tell my story and help people. Like I know I do it through my work at the moment, but it just scares me that it's not just mental health, but resilience. Your resilience project. Like I talk to Hugh a lot about what he does, and I just know that there's got to be more good in the world. And if we can get people away from doubting themselves and woe is me kind of thing, and just living for the moment, the world's going to be a better place.
Oh, totally agree, brother. But thank you so much for your time, man.
Appreciate
it's been interesting.
Yeah, it's been good, and I watch all the casts, so it's I love it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to drinking some of that beer.
Yeah, it's out there waiting for you, mate. You're the bloke in the bar today. You're the bloody bloke in the bar. Thank you so much, brother.
Forward pass, Mr. Cummins, you dickhead. Well, I can't speak. Forward a mile. He's let it go. That one, Stevie Wonder is in. Narrow 5 yards for it. Well, I can't speak.